you for this presentation session. Now we will be discussing water resource and irrigation engineering, transportation engineering, and third thing is environmental engineering. In this different field of civil engineering, these are the last three fields which we will discuss in this session. So water resource and irrigation engineering. You can observe that all the fields of civil engineering based on certain demands. First, the demand was for construction. So there was a construction technology field and they fulfilled the house construction need. So that is one part. And people need water, and water resource engineering helps in this field. And what do you mean by resources is it is conserving the water and storing the water for the requirement of people. So people need water for drinking purpose, other recreational purpose. Other than that, industries need more number of water for manufacturing purpose, and other living beings are also depends upon water. So the construction technology only depends upon the people, but the water resource and irrigation engineering, it does not only cover the people, it covers the whole environment and the living organisms around the environment. So the science which deals with the subject of tapping water either from surface or subsurface source. So in civil engineering aspect, we need water for drinking purpose and for industrial need for the development of infrastructure. For these purposes, how the water are being used and where the water is being tapped. The water which is indicated here is not only the surface water. Large amount of water which is available below the surface, that is groundwater. And also you can see the water is available in different forms: evaporation, clouds. These are the forms of water where you have sufficient amount of resources in order to fulfill, to distribute to different land. The total volume of water stored under the surface of earth may be about 80 million kilometer cube, a half of which may be at a depth less than 600 meter. So the water is not frequent during all seasons. So we cannot depend on the rainfall throughout the year. So we need to store the water in view of the demand. So the humans need demand daily, and you can see a number of accident which has happened for the animals. So the animals doesn't find water, they take water from the border community villages. So during those process met with an accident while it is crossing a railway lines. So this is what happened today. See, the water is a requirement for other species also for throughout the year. They do not find the water throughout the year. Hence, we need to store water. We need to preserve water in order for our cyclic demand and daily demand. So the groundwater is obtained all around the year and it is used along with the surface water, keeps the subsoil water level with reasonable limit. So this is a potential area where the water is available and we can tap the water. And what we can make the arrangement is we can preserve the groundwater. How to preserve groundwater? If you preserve that by making the surface, and you will be getting a water which is required throughout the year. The engineers have learned to tame the water resources by construction of dam. So how to utilize the rainwater? Even though the rainfall is very much less, but if you store the rainfall flows through the rivers and streams. What you can do is you can store this water by construction of dam, and by this dam, this water can be used for drinking purpose and for irrigation purpose. These are the two things. Other option is you can use the bore wells. So you can tap the groundwater and you can use it for the same water and irrigation purpose. So these are the two major source of water for food as well as for drinking. And hydroelectric power plant are also one of the technology which is being benefited by usage of the water. The water is stored in dam. These water used to generate the power, and it also helps in preserving the. This is a clean energy which is being developed by hydroelectric power plant, so you are not harming any environment. What are the things which comes under water resource engineering? So these engineers ensures that a continuous supply for clean uncontaminated water for drinking, living and other recreational purposes. And they not only design this water management system, but they oversee the construction and maintenance of the system as well. So after the construction, the construction engineer, that is he will construct the dam and he moves into the next process. But the water resource engineer, he maintains the dam after the construction, and he makes the purpose of the construction is being made till the usage of this construction. So also the maintenance of the dam is very much essential. So these engineers take care of that. As previously referenced, the surface water makes up to 71% of the planet. We know that the water which is covered in our earth around 71%, which is equivalent to roughly 326 million cube miles. So how many liters of water? That is 1.359 into 10 power 22 liters of water which is available. But what is important is 3% of this water is fresh water. Fresh water in the sense which can be used for drinking, and it is a imagination of for each and every 100 liter, that is 98 liter of water, you will be getting roughly a half teaspoon of fresh water. Imagine that you have 100 liter of water. If that is the case, the ratio of fresh water which is available is a half a teaspoon, that is 0.003 liters of water. So you find the difference of amount of water is available and amount of fresh water is available. So around 2.5 of fresh water is out of reach. So within that fresh water, that is around 3% of fresh water, 2.5% of fresh water is out of reach. That is, it is contained in the soil. So the soil has some water and it is contained in soil and polar ice caps, and the atmosphere and the glaciers are too polluted to use safely. So we are currently using 0.5% of fresh water which is reachable to us. And what are the roles of water resource engineer here? So he creates, so to create new equipment and system to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of water treatment and aquatic resource management. The treatment of water is being constantly improving. Water resource engineer works on these technologies and how to treat the water efficiently. So say for example, if you are using a water filter in your house, the amount of water after the filtration will be more. Water which is filtered will be less when compared to the water consumed by this water filter. So there will be more waste during this filtration. So there is a technology behind that, and what are the process which is there and how to utilize this water to an optimum level. In certain countries you don't have a sufficient number of water in order to treat and to discharge the waste. So if you have limited number of water, and how to preserve that water and how to make that water 100% efficiently, so which is the requirement of the engineer. He has to analyze the data and design new improved facilities to enhance the water treatment system, and he should know the budgetary constraints. So the solutions which has been given for this water resource management should be under the budget, and it should be under the government regulation when designing this system. So this has to be taken care. The water demand and water utilization is the major political issue around us. So whatever might be the states, whatever might be the country, so even the countries fight for water. So the resource what we are making and how we take the resource and where we take the resource, these things have the regulations and certain government law issue has to be abided. And next thing is irrigation engineering. So first thing, we have dealt with water resource, which is how to preserve water and how to store water and how this water can be used. So this is the thing. These are all static things of water. If you compare with hydrology engineering, it is the process of movement of water, how the water is being transported, how the water is being conveyed. So the hydrological engineering more involves in transporting the water and conveying the water, and how the water is being used dynamically. And in case of irrigation engineering, this is a branch of water resource engineering, and they purely deal with the water which is used for agriculture. For an agricultural field, water is mandatory. The water demand is met by the agricultural engineer. So irrigation engineering deals with the utilization of the water. From the past, the amount of water which is being utilized by, and you can see a sprinkler irrigation technology. So the amount of water is less. What we can do now? According to the water demand of the crops and the availability of water. If the water is very much less, we cannot use surplus amount of water. So in those time, what we can do is you can use the different technology. You can see this kind of irrigation system is being widely used in hill areas, and when you have a moderate level of water for your field. So this water is being sprinkled throughout all the crops which is being cultivated here. And this is another technology which is being used to distribute the water for all the crops. And the third thing, you can see when the amount of water is more and surplus, you can use this kind of canal type water supply. 100% of the water is not used in this canal approach, and certain water gets evaporated. So the evaporation around takes place so that the water loss is there. So in this technology, in drip irrigation or sprinkler irrigation, the water loss is very less when considered to the canal system. So these are the improvement of irrigation engineering. So how the dam water or the water which is being supplied to the each and every crop. All the crops does not require same amount of water. So certain crops need more water and certain crops need some amount of water for frequent number of time. So like that, according to the demand, how the technology is being used in order to fulfill the water demand. And it also helps in determining future irrigation expectation. And year by year, the food grains has to be in order to meet the population. And if you want to increase that, agriculture has to be increased so that the irrigated water has to be increased. So these things has to be forecasted and it has to be met. And the scope of irrigation engineering is planning and designing for current needs and for the future needs, and construction management of irrigation system operations. After planning and designing, you have to manage this system. So after installing, we have to manage throughout the time. So lead irrigation projects provide better facilities and methods of irrigation. The main job of irrigation engineer is to find the efficient and cost effective ways of an irrigation system which cost less and yield better result. So this is the main job of an engineer. So within the less amount of water, and how best we can give the yield result. So the term yield is very important here. By using those water, how better we can get those demand. thing is transportation. The people needs transport and the materials needs to be transported. These are the two things which has to be transported. The large equipment machineries are being transported by ships and it is being distributed conveniently. And how to meet the demand of transportation engineering? So this is the heart of the development of a country. If the transportation of a country is strong, then they can supply the material throughout the country from east to west or north to south easily. So this ensures that the development of country and the requirement is being supplied for each and every people. So this transportation engineering covers the planning, designing and operations. So what is the current demand of transportation and what is the current traffic and what is the operational role and how it can be utilized for future extension. It covers the safe and efficient transport system. The transportation engineering covers land, water and air. So these are the three modes of transportation. All the modes of transportation comes under this engineering. And the railway are the most important modes of communication by land and it is considered as safe and convenient for long distance. So if you travel from one place to another, if your distance is more, you will be choosing the rail as the better transport than the road. And water transportation is feasible only when there is river, canals and navigable sea coast. You can see that the state which are well developed India have a good sea transportation, water mode of transportation. You can take Mumbai, you can take Chennai and Visakhapatnam. These area are well developed in southern part of India. Supply the major goods for the country all around. If a state or if a country has the water mode of transportation, that country has a better possibility of a developed nation. The transportation of men and goods for short distance can be speedily done by road transportation system. So this is the advantage of road transportation. Role of transportation engineering. The transportation contributes economical, industrial, social and cultural development of any country. If you want to increase the economy, say for example, we heard about the distribution of fruits. The farmer gets a 10 rupees nearly in an average for a mango per kg. And what is the cost of the same mango which is being bought in the markets? So it is available around 60 to 70 rupees. Note that the 50 rupee, the difference which is taken due to the transportation. The people need mangoes and the farmer supplies the mango. So he does lots and lots of work and he has to wait for certain amount of time and he has to preserve tree and finally he gets 10 rupees for all this effort. And for transportation only, the distributor takes the amount and in a market we buy the kg of mango for 60 to 70 rupees. See that the transportation plays an important role here. If you can transport in a better mode, in a speedy mode, in convenient mode, in cost effective mode, what happens? The people will be getting all the commodities with less cost. If the transportation people or the lorry owners made a bunch, what happens? Slowly the commodities price will be increased, and if the diesel or petrol price is increased, proportionally the commodities price increase. So transportation is the blood for a human. So the transportation is blood for a country. So if a country is assumed as a human body, and how the blood works throughout the body to supply all the nutrition throughout the body. So same way the transportation helps to supply all the commodities people towards the country. Not only in economic factor, the industrial, social and cultural development. So there are some tribal places where the transportation is not there. So why they are detached from the urban area? The tribal people don't have an efficient transportation. So if they are getting transportation, so they share the culture and they share the commodity, they share the emotions. And what happens, the tribal people became village people and they slowly move to urbanization. So this is the importance of transportation, and transportation is vital to economic development of a country and every commodity. So this is what I have explained now, and it improves the employment opportunities. Currently, from Mysore to Bangalore, so there is an expressway which is being proposed. If the expressway is being started, what happens? The employment opportunity increase. Why? Because the travel time will decrease around 2 hours or 1.5 hours. Then around you have 150 kilometers from Mysore to Bangalore. If the express lane is being laid, so around 1.5 to 2 hours of travel you can reach the place, and the employment opportunity from the developing area will be more, and it improves the living standard of a country. Also there is a chance of import and export opportunity, and the business will get increased. And this is the last title, which is environmental engineering. So where it preserves, so the development is a single part. Every field is developing, that is construction field, building materials field, transportation, see, industrialization, everything is developing. So while the development happens, there is a possibility of risk. We should preserve this environment, a sustainable environment. The sustainable in the sense, so whatever the way the earth is being created, it has to be for a long duration. Then what happens? The environment around us. So we are not only the people who are living. So there are other living beings which has to be preserved. So these comes under environmental engineering. So this is the core of the environmental engineering. And when coming to engineering part, tapping water from different source, testing it qualities, purification process and distribution of water. So the quality part which comes under the environmental engineering, the certain standards which is being laid by organizations, those standards has to be met in order to consumed by the people. And soon after the production of each and every material, there will be industrial discharge, and for that discharge there are certain parameters. These industrial discharge water has to be treated in order to release them out to the environment. So these standards are being laid by the environmental engineering, and the environment is polluted through the medium of air, water and such other agents. So these are the three major things, that is air, water and land. So these are the three areas which has to be preserved. And from this picture you can see that there is development in our country in each and every part of land, but the development has to be friendly and it should not disturb our environment. So this is the focus of environmental engineering. All the waste has to be treated. So during any production there will be some waste. So how to treat e-waste and how to treat water waste. So we consume the water, and after the consumed water, this water gets contaminated, and how this water is being treated. So everybody will be having a septic tank in their house, and this tank is an example of treatment of water. So the water, so the solids which are there in the water gets treated in the septic tank, and monthly once or twice we will be cleaning the septic tank. So this is a structure which is being constructed in order to treat the water before going to the public forum. The impact of wastewater originating from industries is felt by living organisms if such waste containing toxics. And so let us come to the role of environmental engineer. So they preserve the quality of environment by averting the contamination and degradation of water, land and resources. So the environmental engineering involves chemical and biological studies also. So what are the chemical variations are being identified, so they will be laying the standards and they will be treating the water, and if there is any toxic substance they will be removing that in that water, and these are the major role of environmental engineer. And the control of air and noise pollution. So for any thermal power plant there will be fumes which is coming out from the thermal industry. So these fumes are treated, and after treatment the fumes has to be discharged in the environment. So these treatment of air pollution is being regularized here. And municipal and solid waste and hazardous waste management. What are the other hazardous management is creation of nuclear power. So the nuclears are being used, that is uranium is being used to generate the power. So after the usage of uranium, the uranium waste will be there. How to handle this uranium waste, how to discharge them, and how to make or how to preserve the environment from them. So these are the things which is being done by the environmental engineers. So they are not only working in civil field, mechanical, electrical, each and every field they will be working. So what are the things which is being developed? So in all the fields, in all the production area, these environmental engineer will be there to make and to preserve the environment. So this is the core of the environmental engineer. Okay, I hope that you identified these three engineering field, that is water resource and irrigation engineering, transportation engineering and environmental engineering. So all the roles of different engineer is different, and if each and every engineer and each and every engineering is developing, our infrastructure gets developed. So this is what the term which is introduced here called as infrastructure. If each and every people is getting a good water, if the people are getting a good transport, if they are getting a good house to live, if they are safe and stable, see these things are different from each and every country. So this plays an important role in development of infrastructure. So this is why the infrastructure is related to this field in civil engineering. So if the development in this field is good, the 9 number of field which we have discussed in this past 3 lectures, if this area is being developed, and surely there will be a greater impact in infrastructural development. So I hope that you enjoyed this session, and we will see you soon. Happy learning. See you again.